the feints, the foot movement, the way he lands shots. He fights like a boxer. He doesn't fight like a guy who's trying to box in a celebrity boxing match.
Let that sink in.
Jake
That's
Paul,
right
Gervonta Davis is so crazy. 135 versus 200.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, a 92-pound weight difference. Almost a 100-pound weight difference. It's insane. Let's say he comes in at 200 pounds. It's still a 65-pound weight advantage, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Joe Rogan has once again shaken up the fighting world with a big prediction before the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Tank Davis fight. The UFC commentator didn't hold back, saying that Jake Paul's big size and weight could actually end Tank's career if they really fight in the ring. Rogan said that even though Gervonta is one of the strongest punchers in boxing, he's just too small to deal with Jake's power, long reach, and strong body.
My opinion is, I just want to say, in case someone calls me in the court, I'm a fucking idiot and I don't know nothing. And don't take my advice.
I love the Saudis.
Don't take my opinion.
I love the Israeli government. I love everybody.
That had nothing to do with them. That was Jake Paul promoting it. You know, it's just doesn't bother me.
There's compromise in the sport, and that's like bad. It's just like
if I bet on it,
watching it with people who are so in on it, and then also man, the sports betting apps, they introduced like chat apps in them in Australia. So it's like they're trying to take the place of social media companies where you go together and you meet your friends. Like betting should be exciting enough without having a weird.
They're just trying to draw you in. They're just trying to make money, right? So they're trying to draw you in.
Rogan admitted that Jake Paul has really improved as a boxer. He said that if Jake wasn't a YouTuber and was just another fighter, people would be amazed by how fast he's grown because he actually knows how to fight, understands what's happening in the ring, and doesn't just swing wildly. But Rogan also gave a serious warning that fighting Gervonta Davis is very risky. He said Davis is on a whole different level when it comes to skill and knockout power, and if Jake doesn't take it seriously, things could go very wrong for him.
What do you think of this Jake Paul fella?
I always say that if Jake Paul was not a YouTube star, people just looked at him like an up-and-coming boxer, you would say this kid's got a lot of fucking talent. He's dangerous. I think his strength is that they underestimate him because of what his background was. And they think there's no way that some guy who became famous off of YouTube is going to be an actual legit boxer. If you look at what he's done, he's a very good boxer.
Jake Paul didn't hold back when he said, "I would destroy him in the ring because of my size." That bold claim, even though he also showed some respect for Gervonta Davis's skill and pride for his country, caused instant backlash. Critics said it makes the fight sound less serious and more about bragging than real boxing. Since Paul is almost 200 pounds as a cruiserweight and Davis fights at lightweight, the big size difference has people worried that this isn't just an unfair fight, it's dangerous show-off behavior.
I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down.
I don't know if Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
Is there a height limit in boxing?
For Tank, there's no way that this goes well for Tank Davis. Because if he wins, they go, oh yeah, world champion. Of course you were supposed to beat that YouTuber. If he struggles but wins, they go, ooh, Tank is washed. He struggled against Jake Paul. He still won, but he had a hard time. And then, of course, if he loses to Jake Paul. And him and boxing lose their credibility.
Rogan's comments came out around the same time as some big news. The fight is now set for November 14th, 2025, at the Kaseya Center in Miami. It will be a 10-round exhibition match shown on Netflix. The agreed fighting weight is said to be 195 pounds, way higher than Davis's usual lightweight class of about 135 pounds and even above Jake Paul's recent cruiserweight fights.
My point still stands where it stands. Jake Paul wins this fight. I already bet Gervonta Davis in the DMs. We locked a bet. Guys, it's obvious Jake wins this fight. If you guys know anything about fighting, you know about weight classes. You know that Jake's been training for actual years. He's been locked in.
Oh my days. Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. Is this real? This can't be real. Because he was talking about fighting Joshua, which is heavyweight. And now he's saying about fighting Tank. Nah, this can't be. It's Netflix as well. I need to go and do some checks and see if like the main pages have posted this, but Jake Paul's posted it. It says Friday, November 14th. It's in Atlanta, State Farm Arena. This is random, no?
Besides Rogan, other boxing experts and analysts have also shared their thoughts on the fight. Most of them are showing worry, warning people to be careful, and some even doubt if this matchup is real or safe at all.
Oh! Jake Paul is fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. Chilaquiles.
Must the energy. Must the energy. Must the energy. Must the energy.
Oh, it's musty, and I say that respectfully. Per Mike Hoppinger in the Ring magazine, Gervonta Tank Davis, freshly off his domestic violence charges being dropped, will get into the ring with Jake Paul in Atlanta with a proposed date of November 15th. Lord child. Get your hand out of my pocket! Tank weighs about 135. Jake Paul weighs about 200 some pounds. So obviously this will be at a catch weight, and this possibly will not be a sanctioned fight where it will count on anybody's records. But I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Tank fans, you niggas down bad.
The hatred. Musty energy.
You niggas is down bad. Tank basically on the back half of his career, according to my brother Nestor Gibbs from the Boxing Voice. This man, Gervonta Tank Davis, said, I am not fighting no Shakur Stevenson. The man said, I'm not even going to rematch Lamont Sanat. The man just said, I'm not even thinking about fighting Dev Dollars, Devin the Dream, Debo Haney. I am going directly into Jake Paul. I've been told you that Tank was the black Jake Paul. Tank been the black Jake Paul. Man ain't care about legacy. Man ain't care about none of that, bro. Tank fans, you niggas down bad. Protect your fighter. It is musty at the highest level. And poor Lamont Sanat, it might be over for Lamont Sanat. He got to fight somebody. You might need to fight Gary Russell Jr. right now. Tank Davis, Lord Child, Jake Paul, boxing down bad. This about to make a lot of money. The only plus in this is that Alicia Baumgardner, aka Bomb Amy, might be on this card. I would love to see Alicia Baumgardner back on Netflix. That is a plus, and my man Lucas Body might get on there as well, and Avius Griffin. So it might be a movie as far as the undercard. Tank Davis, you down bad, bro. Boxing is absolutely disgusting and musty at the highest level. Get it together. Tank is a 30-plus-year-old prospect at the back end of his career. He on his Mayweather McGregor at the age of 30. Lord child.
Davis's head trainer, Calvin Ford, admitted that the fight is risky because of the big size difference and other details, but he said, "We signed the contract. We're going to make it do what it do." Instead of worrying about body size, he talked about glove size. Both teams are still deciding if they'll use lighter or heavier gloves. Ford explained that Davis usually fights with 8-ounce gloves and suggested that Paul use 10-ounce ones while Davis keeps his 8-ounce gloves to make things more even.
My only concern is, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s. So he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8s, put him in 10s. That makes the fight more interesting. You know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his handlers. They was, no, we don't want to do no mixed match. It's supposed to be expedition. What, now y'all want the wins and the loss. You know what I'm saying? All these prescriptions, but you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? Tank don't really care, So when I brought this up, he said, dang, facts. You know what I'm saying? So, again, he can weigh the 10s and we weigh the 8s. Then we got to fight.
Ford explained that at first, the team was getting ready for a rematch with Lamont Roach Jr., but when the chance to fight Jake Paul came up, they felt lucky to take it. He said the Roach rematch made sense from a pure boxing point of view, but the Paul fight promised way more fame and money. Ford defended the choice by saying that Gervonta Davis has earned chances like this. Sometimes a fighter has to walk through the bigger door when it opens, even if it's not the clearest path competition-wise. The planned fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis has faced a lot of pushback from boxing officials. The Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission refused to approve the fight in Atlanta because of the huge weight difference between the two. The chairman, Rick Thompson, didn't hold back, calling it the dumbest thing I've ever heard and saying it was just a cash grab. When Paul's team asked for a weight class waiver, the commission said no, worrying that a fight with such a big mismatch wouldn't be safe. Because of that, the fight has now been moved to Miami.
Say today, the chairman of the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission, the commission that is going to be voting whether or not to approve Tank Davis and Jake Paul. His name is Rick Thompson. He has some very choice words for Jake and Tank fight. He says it's the dumbest ish he's ever heard. It's a money grabber, and he's not okay with that. And he doesn't like the arrogance of Tank Davis and Jake Paul announcing their fight, marketing their fight, having press conferences and shit before the commission can vote whether or not they're going to approve the fight. He calls it arrogance. Their concerns, obviously, the weight discrepancy between the two. In the state of Georgia, two competitors cannot outweigh each other by more than 9 pounds. Tank and Jake Paul's teams have already submitted a rule waiver request to get that rule waived. And Rick Thompson also said in this article that he is expecting the committee to put it to a vote as to whether or not they're going to approve this fight on September the 18th when they're meeting again. Also, we got some insight that USA Today tried to reach out to other members of the committee, and all of them declined to comment on what's going on. But what I do know is that the Georgia Athletic and Entertainment Commission, it's a 5-person panel that's going to be voting on this Tank Davis-Jake Paul.
Meanwhile, former world champion Amir Khan shared his thoughts too, calling the fight disgusting and saying that these kinds of exhibition matches with big size differences could cause real injuries or hurt boxing's reputation. He stressed that weight classes and proper approval exist for a reason. He even said that by taking a fight like this instead of facing a real top-level boxer, Davis is helping turn the sport into a joke. In Khan's opinion, Davis might be chasing money and attention instead of real boxing respect. He added that even though Davis is a top-level fighter, getting in the ring with such a big weight and size gap raises serious safety concerns and hurts the sport's honesty. Overall, Khan made his point clear: this isn't the kind of fight a true champion should be taking.
There's a few boxers out there who are frowning at Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis fighting in an exhibition bout. You know, they can frown, but one fighter has been more vocal than the rest, and that's Amir Khan. The thing with Amir Khan, you know he's always been about his Wu-Tang cream, dollar bill, y'all. Now he's mad because Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul figured out a way to rob the bank, like Mayweather and Conor McGregor did. Amir Khan out here talking about, you know, someone's gonna get hurt. This needs to stop. That's why people respect MMA so much. You don't see these fools trying to go over to MMA and do what they do in boxing. There needs to be some kind of control, he pulled a Eubank Senior on us. Parliamentary procedure. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, if Amir Khan had an opportunity to fight Jake Paul, all it is, hey guys, let's do the right thing and stop this social media nonsense. All fighters should stick to fighting, whether boxing or MMA. We shouldn't be crossing over, doing this misfit shit, fighting YouTubers or fighting Jake Paul.
On this fight, a really bad mismatch, and you know what? Whoever the promoter is and that's agreed Gervonta to fight, and whoever the promoter is to fight for Jake Paul to say fight this little man. I mean, that's wrong, man. I mean, that's just like torturing someone. I mean, going in there and hurting someone is just not fair on Davis. But like I say, you don't know what position Davis is in. I heard that he's been having a lot of legal problems and he's been arrested a couple of times for a couple of felonies and stuff I've seen with his ex-wife and stuff. So you know what? You don't know what's going through his head. Maybe he just wants to cash up and walk away from the sport. And maybe this is a great opportunity for him where he's seen this fight come up and he's like, fuck it, I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they're making boxing a joke, really. Yeah. One day someone's going to end up getting hurt so badly, then it's going to definitely destroy the sport.
Meanwhile, Shakur Stevenson didn't hold back when talking about the planned fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul, calling it a bad idea because of the huge size difference between them. He said Davis should be going after a real boxing challenge instead of joining an exhibition match that, in his opinion, hurts the sport's reputation. Stevenson pointed out that Davis could actually make more money by skipping the show-style fight and going after a real top opponent, like in a unification match. Basically, Stevenson made himself sound like the right opponent for Davis and said the Jake Paul fight is just about money, not real boxing competition.
You got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that, and he called cap on it. So if you gonna call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
Maybe he'll fight Jake Paul instead. What do you think of that?
I think that's terrible.
Why?
I mean, I get it because at the end of the day, it's the money business, and you want to make the most money. But from what I'm hearing, he can make more money in a fight with me. And if that's the case, why not fight me?
Sure. Do you think he beats Jake Paul?
Do I think he beats Jake? Yeah. I mean,
there's a huge size advantage, though.
It is, but I think Tank got the skills to make sure he come out on top.
Do you think that Jake has gone better?
Yeah, I think actually Jake got tremendously better from the time frame that he started till now. And in the right situation, I also could see him become a world champion.
Really?
Yeah.
KSI has openly criticized Jake Paul for his fight with Gervonta Davis, calling the matchup a shame for boxing. He said he's disappointed with the kind of opponents Jake keeps picking and believes Jake is avoiding a fight with him. Instead, KSI said, Jake is choosing easier fights. KSI's comments show he's still upset with how Jake is handling his boxing career and that he really wants a real, fair fight between them.
I mean, look, with Jake, the guy's been ducking me or running away from me for so long, man. Like, he's just making excuse after excuse. And now he wants to fight Tank. I mean, it just says the type of guy Jake Paul is. He only fights someone if he has a major advantage. Anything that's close, or anything that could actually be a decent fight, he runs away from it. So
Teofimo Lopez described the Paul vs. Davis fight not as a battle for titles or pride, but more like a big show, something made for entertainment and money, not for legacy or rankings. He said there's nothing wrong with that because both fighters will make huge amounts of money, and the fight will definitely attract lots of attention. Even though this fight doesn't have the honor of a championship match, Lopez believes it still has value because it can bring in new fans and create excitement. He said that even an exhibition fight can help boxing by showing how big the sport can be when big personalities, drama, and showmanship all come together.
Very happy for Gervonta and Jake. I really am, man. It's good for the sport in some way, you know?
So a heavyweight versus a lightweight.
Yeah.
You got a fly hit me, yeah. A heavyweight versus a lightweight. How's this gonna work?
Hey, they make it work. It's an exhibition for a reason. So, you know, they know what they're doing. And, you know, shout out to Netflix and shout out to both of them, honestly. Like I said, I think a lot of people in the boxing world are kind of upset. I could care less. I think they're going to go out there and make their money. It falls on the number 8 for a reason. They're going to make a lot of money.
Have you got a prediction for that fight?
My prediction? A show.
Well, clearly it's a show, but when you've got a lot of people underestimating Jake Paul once again, but when you've got a heavyweight boxer who knows how to throw punches and knows the basics against a lightweight, it's quite a difference. I mean, have you sparred heavyweights before?
Yeah.
For competitive sparring in the ring?
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same, not at all. Definitely got to move. I've actually played around a few times, went through between their legs just to duck around. But yeah, because they're taller, you know?
Even though Joe Rogan kept warning everyone about the huge size difference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, he also made it clear that Tank's skill should never be underestimated. On his podcast, Rogan called Davis one of the most powerful punchers in boxing, with amazing timing, accuracy, and smart ring awareness that very few fighters have. He warned Jake Paul and his team not to think size alone would win the fight, saying Davis has knockout power that can turn the fight around in a second, even against a bigger guy. Rogan finished by saying that while Jake's size advantage is real, Tank's skill and experience make him way too dangerous to take lightly no matter what.
Gervonta Davis is like that. Their technique's so dialed in that when you watch them uncork, it's like, oh my God, the efficiency of it. Giant fan of the guy. I just loved as a person who like really enjoyed technique. I like watching someone who's exceptional at it. I always admired guys who were able to find like the shortest path connecting with a shot, where it's just like the technique is so dialed in. There's guys that...
Do you agree with Joe Rogan's opinion, or do you think Tank will prove everyone wrong again? Share what you think in the comments below.